Should have a good balance everywhere.
All right, so let's get into the match preview. It's always a difficult place to go, Chelsea. We know that. Fond memories of the last time we won there with Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen. We were there that day, and it's time to recreate those kind of memories. And, you know, Chelsea are not confident in any game they're going through at the moment. But all you have to do is look at the form against Chelsea that we show, and it's just nothing short of tragic. It's nothing short of a disgrace, to be honest. And whether Spurs are in a good moment, a bad moment, whatever, we just can't seem to go to Stamford Bridge and do anything. That's the reality.
Mental, isn't it, when you think about it, that we went 28 years without winning there, won there, and now we're on another 7 years?
Yeah.
A winless streak?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's nuts how that record. So it's one win there in 35 years.
It's ridiculous. It's shocking, to be honest. But I actually think that we can go there and do something tomorrow night. I'm looking at the way Chelsea are playing, and I know they just beat Southampton and Leicester, but even in those games, I didn't see much from them. You know, Cole Palmer was really finding it hard to finish off his chance. He was getting so many chances. But, you know, in this game, when Tottenham come to town, every one of those chances will probably go in.
Yeah,
that's
for sure. 100%. And I think as well, you can't underestimate what a big player Jackson is for them as well. Because I think while he's been injured, they've really missed him. And Nkunku hasn't done it. They haven't really found an option there in that number 9. And he makes them a lot more of a cohesive team, I think, when he's there. He's such a physical threat. He holds the ball up. He makes those runs in behind. He's been scoring quite a lot of goals as well this season. And, you know, I feel like since Chelsea have had him injured, they've been putting balls into the box and they've had no one on the end of them, and they've had no one to hold the ball up in that aspect. So I think having Jackson back is massive. Now, the counteract to that is obviously we got Mickey and Romero back. So hopefully I can counteract that. If we didn't have them two playing, I'd be a lot more nervous about Jackson being back. I am still concerned, but less concerned than I would have been. But yeah, I think Jackson being back for them is massive.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, you know, could be getting them at a good time because these players just coming back from injury. You don't know what kind of state they're in, how fully fit they are, haven't been training for that long. And that's 3 of them. That's Palmer, Madueke and Jackson. Jackson obviously has previous about scoring against Spurs. Madueke obviously used to be on Spurs' books, so he'll be chomping at the bit to get on the score sheet in this one. I'm looking at their midfielders in Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, and I think them two have kind of like potentially kept up those standards. Potentially Enzo, I've been actually impressed with Enzo. I think Maresca's definitely brought him on a bit since last season.
He went through a really good spell not so long ago. He's getting loads of goal contributions, so it's kind of dried up a bit, but he's having a really good season. I think he didn't start it too well, and then like November time, he really started to hit his stride. Him and Caicedo forming a really good partnership with that trio with Palmer as well, was forming really well. And then of late, it's kind of not been as good. I think Caicedo has not looked the same player in the last few weeks as he had been.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's had this international break. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back to his best come this game. And Enzo as well has had a good international break, done really well for Argentina. You saw him up against Brazil, making fun of one of the Brazilian players. He's got that cockiness about him at the moment. So, yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're back to their best in this one.
But Enzo, like, if he's not getting those goal contributions, he's still such a tricky customer, you know? He buys so many fouls in that middle of the park, and he's really tough. These two players, even when they're not playing well, they're still really tough players to play against, really tough. Yeah. And I think as a midfield, like as a double duo in the midfield, I think what player quality-wise, one of the best duos in the Premier League.
When they're on form, Caicedo, just unbelievable engine he has. He can almost run for 2 players, that guy. He's so hard to get around. And then Enzo, as you say, brilliant technician, really great passer. I think there was a bit of a kind of debate. What's his best role? Is he better going forward? Is he more of a DM? Is he...
Caicedo?
No, Enzo.
Oh, Enzo.
And I think they've really found his best role now, just kind of being a box-to-box player. And I think he's doing really, really well. So fair play to him.
It's mad, Chelsea, like how they keep bringing through this kind of player. I know they got him for big money from Brighton, but you look back to like the Michael Essien, the Michael Essiens, the Claude Makelele, John Obi Mikel, N'Golo Kante, and now they've got Moises Caicedo. I mean, what unreal talent in the six they've had over the years.
Yeah. So they always seem to find talent there, don't they?
Yeah,
Fair
it's
play.
Unbelievable. It really is. I mean, they do have the budget that maybe no other team has, but no, it is unbelievable talent that they've had there. But I don't think Spurs, I know we've been really poor of late and shocking, but we should be smelling blood a little bit looking at the way this Chelsea team are playing. They're not attacking well. They're not kind of breaking teams down like they did in the first part of the season. And I'm looking at Enzo Maresca and the critics that he was having when he first joined Chelsea was like, or even last season at Leicester, saying like they bang it out, they smash it out first half of the season, and then they completely drop off. That's what happened to him. Leicester just about got over the line towards the end of the season. This is exactly the same thing that we're seeing this year as Chelsea manager. And I'm looking at the back end to the Poch tenure at Chelsea, and I'm looking like, now it's all said and done, and like he's at this stage of his Chelsea tenure. Like, did they really need to sack Poch? Are they much better off now for sacking Poch? Really?
Yeah, I don't think they are massively. I don't think they play much better, to be honest. I think you could argue they built on a lot of the momentum that Poch was building at the end of last season and the way they started this season, and it's gone very flat recently. I know they got those 2 wins. In fact, before the Arsenal game, they were on the back of 4 wins in a row, but the 2 of them was against Copenhagen, 1 Southampton, 1 Leicester. So it's not like the hardest games, but they were building a bit of momentum. But I look at them; they do seem quite stale at the moment, and they don't seem to be playing with the same kind of freedom they were playing earlier in the season when they were just swatting teams away, playing swashbuckling football. Like the team that beat Wolves 6-2 in the season, they beat Brighton 4-2. I don't see that football anymore from them. I know they've also had quite a few injuries as well, but a lot of people are. Actually, a lot of the criticism I'm hearing from Maresca when I hear from Chelsea fans is quite a lot of the same similarities from what I'm hearing from Spurs fans when they talk about Ange. He sticks to one system. He doesn't deviate. He's not flexible enough. All these kind of things, which is very interesting because Maresca himself has been saying how flexible he is. Earlier in the season, he had that quote saying, Spurs play a high line and Villa play a deep block. And if I play the same way against both teams, then I'm doing something wrong, something along that lines. But a lot of Chelsea fans are criticising him for not changing it up and sticking to one system and playing the same way, and also being a bit too static, a bit too systematic, I should say, in the way he plays and doesn't allow for any freedom. And it's interesting to hear that kind of criticism about him, which is something that early this season he was being praised for being the opposite, wasn't he? Always changing up his tactics and things like that, and now he's been criticised for not changing it up. Yeah, which is interesting to hear.
Yeah, no, it is interesting to hear, and I think like there are clear flaws in what Enzo Maresca is doing right now. I'm not totally convinced. I mean, they had a stunning start to the season, but just hasn't materialised throughout the whole season. And if they were the Chelsea fans that were kind of doubting Poch, they should be doubting Enzo Maresca right now, because Poch actually started poorly, and then you saw kind of as the season wore on, it was getting better and better and better, and they had a really good one towards the end of the season. This is the complete opposite, and that's a bigger worry when it's the complete opposite. You want to see your team progress, not regress, and that's what the Chelsea fans are seeing right now. You're looking in the last 17 games that Chelsea have had since the Christmas period. They've only beaten teams in the bottom 5, and Copenhagen and Morecambe in the cup, but they've beaten Wolves, they've beaten West Ham. They've beaten Leicester and Southampton.
West Ham, they were lucky that game.
And they were,
well.
100%. And Leicester and Southampton, that's it. That's the only
Leicester
team
was 1-0 with a long-range strike. They really struggled in that game as well.
Yeah.
That is there has to be a bit of a worry for him, how they've gone back. And as well, if they don't win this game, if let's say we somehow win, they could be as low as 7th if the results don't go their way. And some of these teams like Man City are playing Leicester, Newcastle playing Brentford. I know it's not an easy game, but they could easily win it. And if they could easily be dropping out of that top 6 even if things go against them. And that is not a position. Obviously Poch got sacked for being sick. So if they finish in that position, that won't be great. And they do have actually, because they've just had quite a comfortable run of fixtures. If you look at their fixtures, they do have really tough run between now and the end of the season now.
Yeah, Brentford away. Ipswich, still got Ipswich to play, but Fulham, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle United and Forest. But it's mad to say though, like with the runs that they've been on, the form that they've been on, they're still fourth in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like how have they done this? How are they still fourth in the league with
tight.
only winning that many games in the last 17? It's mad.
I think it's just because the whole league's been inconsistent. It's very, very tight. As you know, there's between them and Brentford Brentford are 11th. There is 8 points between them and Brentford, and that's between 4th and 11th. So it's just extremely, extremely tight in that fight for top 4. So they've been able to just keep themselves ticking over in that position. Also, they had a marvelous start to they were actually pretty consistent for a period where they won like 5 or 6 in a row before it all started to go wrong. So that really put them in a good position. To kind of just keep them ticking over with all these other teams inconsistent. They've just added them and just enough points to keep them there.
I guess what's keeping there as well is, their form at home has been very good. It has been. Like you're looking, they're the 4th best home team in the league. I'm looking at their home run now. I mean, their last defeat at home was at the back end of December. Before that, I think that was their only loss at home this season. And Man City, first game of the season. So whatever you want to say, whatever we're saying about Chelsea, going to Stamford Bridge is always a difficult game, and that's proved in the results this season.
Yeah, they've had a really good run of form, and it's difficult to beat them at Stamford Bridge. Always at the best of times, or the worst of times, sorry, it's always difficult to beat them. So they've always had that really strong home form. You got to remember under Mourinho, they went like 2 years unbeaten at home or something.
Yeah.
That was back in the day, but they've always had quite strong home form at Stamford. It's one of those grounds, especially for Tottenham. Doesn't matter how badly or well they're playing. Going to Stamford Bridge is always a tough game for us. Whatever. Remember that season they finished bottom half, and they still stopped us from winning the league. They still stepped up for that one game. That's all they needed.
Yeah.
So they always step up for this game at Stamford Bridge against us. This is their big derby as well. This is their main game. This is a game they will look for at the beginning of each season.
Yeah. And with their home form, with our away form, they've got very good home form. We've got terrible away form, losing to Fulham, losing to Alkmaar, losing to Villa, losing to Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal in recent months. I don't know what it is, but with that home form and our away form and our record at Stamford Bridge, I'm still feeling like we can go there and do something tomorrow night.
Maybe the stars are aligning.
I don't know what and with how kind of negative I've been over the past 3 or 4 months, however long it's been. There's just something about me that I think that we, like with Mickey and Romero back together at centre back, I feel like we can go there and do something.
I'm not so confident we can go there and win, but I think taking a draw is by no means out of the question. I think Chelsea definitely we can the way they're playing at the moment, we can go there and take a draw, especially if we can try and gain some sort. The problem for us is, even though we're gaining players back, we still haven't got them together that much, and we're still not a kind of cohesive team yet. So we're still, you can see it, we're still quite stodgy, especially when we played Fulham. There've been signs of it, second half against City, RZ, that kind of thing. Like we've been signs of us getting it together, but are we at that level yet? We can go to Stamford Bridge and get a win. I highly doubt it, to be honest. Especially with Chelsea getting some big players back as well in the front line, like Jackson. There'll be a big boost for them. Palmer being back will be a big boost, and their home form as well. They'll be confident going into the second win. So it's going to be. I still think. I find it hard to see us winning, but a draw, I can see us drawing. I can see us going there, and if things can start to click like they have at times in the past few weeks, and if with Romero and Van der Ven also back and having been back for a few weeks now, so hopefully they should be a lot fresher. Hopefully we're not as bad defensively as we have been. If we can kind of not be as open as we've been for a lot of the season, and there have been signs of that in recent weeks, I do think that defense can be got at for sure for Chelsea, because I think Reece James has come back and he's scored that great free kick for England, but defensively I'm still seeing a lot of problems with him. Fofana and Colwell haven't really created a great partnership just yet. So, and also the keeper, bloody hell, their goalkeeper is, whoever they play, has been terrible.
It's got to be a shoot on sight job, surely.
100%.
It's got to be. Maddison has got to be Sonny and Maddison. I'm looking at them two players going into this game, looking at their keeper. You got to smell that blood. You got to be taking any opportunity from 20 yards, from 30 yards, from 20, wherever it may be. Just have a crack on goal. Test this keeper early. You know what I mean? Because there are goals in this for us if we really want them. Like you said with Reece James, Sonny, go and attack him. Just go and attack him relentlessly, like we've seen him do in some of the Europa League games and other certain games this season. Like, there are these little key matchups in this game this weekend where I think we can really have the upper hand and it can really stem the tide in our favour.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there are definitely things that we can take advantage of for Chelsea right now in terms of their form, in terms of, look, everyone talks about us inverting their fullbacks. They do the same thing. You look at Cucurella. He does just as much inverting as any of our fullbacks.
He's had
a
very good season.
He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. Scores, gets in the box. He scores goals as well. He's been doing that recently. He scored the winner against Leicester not so long ago. But definitely space out wide. Odegaard is going to be looking at thinking, I've got to attack that space and I've got to make those runs. I think Maddison, I think he's got to be able to be at his absolute sharpest and his absolute best. I think he's going to be a very important player in this game. I think Bergval's going to be a very important player in this game. But I think the main thing is those two centre-backs got to set the tone there, making sure Jackson knows in his return from injury he's in the game and he's not bullying them and he's making sure they're getting that physical advantage. And I think things can, there's definitely things we can do there that can hurt them. But I just feel like I reckon how I envisage it going is that we might play well in spurts, but I feel like we're still going to get caught out on a few occasions. And Chelsea, knowing Chelsea at home and how I've been our luck, I reckon they won't get that many chances, but they'll take them. That's what I think. And I think that because I still think there's something not right with them at the moment going forward. They look very kind of uncreative. They look reluctant to do things in that final third. Looks like they're passing. They're looking reluctant to try things. But I do feel like they'll get a couple of goals.
I feel like Dom Solanke's got the ability to physically overrule their centre-backs as well. Like, I think our front three could really hurt Chelsea going into the game this weekend as well, with our midfield and Lucas Bergval maybe driving down the middle as well as he likes to do. So I do think like we've got a really good chance, like as opposed to previous years at Stamford Bridge. I really do think we've actually got a decent chance to go there and do something. And when you're looking at options off the bench, all of a sudden we've got a few of them. And when you're looking at Chelsea's bench, I mean, this was the Chelsea bench last time out against Arsenal. They had Achiapom, Adebayo, Bettinelli, Chalobah, Dewsbury Hall, George, Gusto, Jorgensen, and Lavia. I mean, 2 goalkeepers on the bench.
But to be fair, they had no Palmer, Jackson, and Madueke.
Yeah, that's also true. So that means it'll be Nkunku, Sancho, and someone else.
Well, all of a sudden, it's
I guess
looking a lot better.
I guess, yeah, you're right.
But we do, we have the likes, Brennan's a decent player off the bench. I know Rishi probably won't be available, but Tell you've got there. So you do have some good attacking players you can maybe change the game potentially, whereas we haven't had that for a while. But we have to use them. We have to use them right. And we, in recent weeks, we haven't really done that. But hopefully they can make a difference.
Yeah, you'd probably think that Chalobah starts because he's actually been really good for Chelsea since rejoining from Palace. He's had a really good season overall.
He's been good, yeah. He's been very good. I don't think he's quite as good in the back two than he has been in the back three. I think the back three suits him a bit more. But I think he has been great since come back in. I don't know. It depends if Fofana's fit and Colwell. I don't know if they'll go with those two or not.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Chalobah scored against us last year for Chelsea, didn't he? Header.
Has he scored a few times against us, Chalobah? Did he score for Palace against us? No, he didn't.
I don't think so.
Is it only 1 goal he scored against us?
Don't remember more.
Think. Yeah, maybe. But it's always a bloody myth, though, Spurs going to Stamford Bridge. Like, we can analyse this and predict till the cows come home, but it usually always does end up just one way, doesn't it?
Yeah, they always seem to find something. Even when we play well there, we never win. To be honest, we usually don't play well. But even when we do, we never get any rub of the green. It's
a weird one at Stamford Bridge, because you're looking at Stamford Bridge, you're looking at the Emirates, and you're looking at Anfield, right? 3 of the grounds where we just never take home wins, right? But when we go to Anfield, we always put up a fight and we always put up a good display. We're just very unlucky not to take anything for the most part. Arsenal, usually we don't play well, but sometimes we pull out a performance there and then just don't take anything away. Stamford Bridge, we just never, ever, ever turn up.
So many forgettable performances.
So many
just bad losses, like not doing anything ever, and we just completely get bullied. They just always get themselves up for it. They know this is their biggest game. As I say, they even when that season when they were so bad, I remember listening to Eden Hazard after the game, and he said, well, however the season has gone, we have to stop Tottenham. We have to stop Tottenham. That's what he always said, and the players know it. The players feel it, and that's
did
why
this current squad feel that? Did this current squad feel that? Because they're very young players. A lot of them have only recently just joined Chelsea.
I hope not.
I mean, do they? I don't know if they do feel it. I don't know if they do.
Colwell's a young. He's an academy guy. So is James.
Yeah, maybe those two players.
They'll get the rest to feel it.
I'm not convinced.
I hope you're right. But I knowing this club and knowing how they are, I think they probably will feel it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's hope that we can go there, and you know, take home something.
It's also I think what's important for me in this game is it's kind of like
just show some fight.
Yeah, first of all, obviously, you know, I always want to get something against Chelsea. That's important. But I think the most important thing is if we can go there and get a result, it's kind of like a good test for, you know, when we face Frankfurt in the Europa League. And it's good for like build momentum, going away from home, tough ground, and showing we can go and do that. In terms of belief for this squad, that we can actually go to Frankfurt and not buckle under the pressure. I think this will be a good kind of litmus test for that.
Yeah, obviously we got the home leg first against Frankfurt, but in terms of quality of opposition, you know, you would say probably what they've shown this season, Frankfurt and Chelsea are very similar in terms of quality and what they've shown. So yeah, in that sense for sure. And yeah, I think that is the main thing that we need to take away from these games, because we need to build some sort of confidence going into this Europa League run. And that's all what this season is about now. That's pretty much all it is, just building confidence for those kind of games. And if we get battered to Chelsea, you know, get over the line of just about Southampton, you know, that's not going to breed much confidence going into that Frankfurt game.
No, we need to start really showing good performances and good results. That's what we need to really start showing at this point.
And if we do go there and win, does that change anything in terms of fans' mentalities towards Ange, do you reckon?
Probably a bit, just because it will be such a big win. Again, you know, we never win at Stamford Bridge. So going there and winning, I think, I wouldn't say, you know, flips 180, but you probably get a few more fans saying, okay, maybe there's something here. But I think it's going to need more than a win at Stamford Bridge, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, especially with the current circumstances in the league, because ultimately a win, apart from building confidence going into the Europa League, this means nothing. That is the reality.
Doesn't mean anything for where we're going to be in the league, yeah.
No, but what it does mean, it's the bragging rights of a London derby. It
doesn't happen every year, does it? A win at Stamford Bridge?
No, it definitely does not. And it hasn't happened for 7 years, and before that, it hadn't happened for 28 years. So
we've both seen one win at Stamford Bridge in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And we've only seen one win at the Emirates. Well, 2 if you count the cup game.
2 if you count the cup.
And how many wins have we seen at Anfield?
We won there under Redknapp once.
What, a Van der Vaart goal?
Yeah.
The Edmund goal was a draw, wasn't it? That game
Edmund goal was a draw. Yeah, I mean, we were live for when we beat them in the cup.
What, Teddy Sheringham?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
That was 94.
Yeah, we were both alive for that. But so we probably that's 2 wins at Anfield in our lifetime.
Is that right? I'm pretty sure.
No, we didn't win at Anfield last year. No.
Yeah, that's just mad. Like these kind of records that Spurs have, the unwanted records that Spurs always take. But I don't know, man. We just got to go there. Got to go there, sing our hearts out for the lads, and hopefully good things can come from it. And the home fans. I mean, Chelsea fans have been shocking this season. Stamford Bridge has been like a morgue for the most part, but you know it's going to be bang up for it on Thursday night.
Oh, for sure. You're going to have those gates smashing. You know, you always hear those gates smashing. I've heard, you know what? I've heard a lot of Chelsea fans, not a lot, but I've heard a few on TikTok. Because you know when they do that song, when they go, on that bit when it goes, they go, fuck off Tottenham or something like that, before every game. And a lot of Chelsea fans saying it's becoming embarrassing that every game they sing about Tottenham.
You are embarrassing. That is embarrassing. They make every single game as they're like to build up their players about Tottenham.
Imagine
that's actually mad.
Chelsea,
what are you doing?
When we sang, "Oh, when the Spurs go marching in," we started talking about Arsenal before every game.
Yeah,
that would be embarrassing. Like to G up the players, you're singing about Arsenal. Imagine that's what they do at Chelsea. They sing about Tottenham to G up the players. How mad is that? Of course the players can know about it. Every game they're being
Why
G'd
are
up
they
by
obsessed
Tottenham.
with us so much?
Obsessed.
Like to that kind of level. I get rivalry, right? And I get the Spurs-Chelsea rivalry. I get the Spurs are, but to that level is a bit nuts.
It's crazy. Imagine that. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. They get themselves G'd up by hating Tottenham every game.
Madness.
No wonder their home form's so good.
And we all know who Poch is going to be supporting this weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course.
On Thursday night.
Yeah, he's fully COYS. Fully COYS.
What's your score prediction then?
Going to go 2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
Desmond. Yeah, in my Prem predictions, I said 2-1 to Chelsea. I kind of feel like we can do something. I'm kind of hoping we can, but it is just classic Spurs. I'm just expecting a loss, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say 2-1 to Chelsea, but
we'll probably score. Chelsea will score while Spurs are on top. We'll have like an miss.
That's exactly.
We'll miss an open goal. We'll
that's exactly what's going to happen.
The other end and score.
That's exactly what's going to happen, and it's going to be the most frustrating thing. But look, it's good to have some football to watch again. It's good to see Spurs back. It feels like bloody forever that Spurs have seen Chelsea play.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Spurs play.
It's probably what, sorry?
It feels like forever that we've seen Spurs play.
It was, it's been 2.5 weeks. It's been the longest break since the summer.
Yeah, man, it's madness. Why the hell couldn't Spurs play this game like whilst the FA Cup was going on? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, they used to do that, didn't they? Where when even if it was FA Cup weekend, they would have Premier League games there as well. But
yeah,
don't know.
And they make out so much about this rivalry, but like it's very rare that you get a player that plays for Spurs and Arsenal. But every man and his dog has played for Spurs and Chelsea.
Spurs, no one cares. The players don't seem to care about playing for both. Even our, Hoddle, one of our biggest legends, played for both. A lot of players have played.
That's a good point from DJ. We didn't even mention Timo. Surely Timo's going to be chomping at the bit.
Oh yeah, Timo, revenge. Maybe we should start him just for revenge. That's
I'll
revenge on us.
I'll be back.
Revenge on us to start him. Embarrassing.
Imagine Timo scores the winner.
Oh my God. He has to make the squad first.
Yeah, he'll make the squad.
Will he?
I think he'll make the squad, yeah. But he's going to come on and score the winner. I'm saying it now. Mark my words.
That'll be unbelievable. Imagine Timo comes on and scores the winner. He's definitely coming on and missing an open goal. That's what's going to happen.
No, he's going to come on. He's going to run the ball out of play. And then Chelsea going to get a throw on. They're going to miss. Reece James is going to throw it to a Spurs player or something. And Timo's going to get it, latch onto it, run past the player and bury it in the bottom corner.
I think he's here.
But yeah, I think that is your match preview. I'm going for the team. So I said 2-1 to Chelsea. Now I'm going 2-1 to Spurs with Timo Werner scoring a winner in the last minute of the game. But that is your match preview.